Lights, action, Africa. I dressed appropriately for the occasion, as you can see, because we're going to be talking with two wildlife photographers, Joan and Alan Root, who have a special on the CBS network on 10/11 Strong. July 1st, I think it's premiering. And we're going to see their beautiful photography as they film the animals in Africa. This is Bimama. Bimama, Joan? Is that how I'm saying it?
Mama.
Just Mama?
Just Mama.
No, Bimama. Just
No.
Mama. And Buana.
If you like, yeah.
And
okay.
Buana. All right, Jambo.
Jambo sana.
Temasana.
Mazuli Sana.
Wanambaya.
Asante. Now we can't go any, that's
Okay.
Swahili, and that's all of, I have my little useful Swahili words. See, it says that you are actually a bibi. If you're a madam, you're a bibi.
Well, that's like being a
That's
female.
Mrs. Bibi
yes.
is kind of Mrs. And Mama is ma'am. It's just a more respectful sort of term.
Oh, well, I want to be respectful, so I'm going to call you Mama. What a fascinating group of people. And they shoot the animals with cameras. But I understand there is no shooting of the animals with guns anymore in Kenya. Is that correct?
That's right. It was stopped about 4 years ago. And there's been no hunting since then.
You know, the curious thing is, I know they're depleting the supply of ivory. And I think about the natives in the condition in which they live, which is very primitive, and they need money. I can understand how they would poach and kill those animals for the ivory. I can understand it, because I think they're worth, what, $20,000, $30,000, something like that?
Enormous amounts. We can understand that, and certainly have a lot of sympathy for the African who goes out and kills an antelope to feed his kids. You know, fair enough. Any one of us would do that if we were poor and needed food. But what's happening with the elephant, you shouldn't feel any sympathy for those guys. I mean, those are big international crooks. You know, the traders who are dealing in ivory are millionaires. They get, if their poachers in the field get caught, they get fined £1,000. They just pull it out and pay the fine and laugh, and they go off and do the same thing the next day. Those people aren't doing it because they need. They're doing it because of greed, which is not something you should.
Is there a great concern
sympathize
about the population of the elephants at this point? Or is it solved really in Kenya, since there are these rules?
No, it hasn't solved, because hunting had nothing to do with it. I mean, professional hunting was responsible for the death of very few elephants, and those that were shot paid their way, in that the hunters had to pay a lot of money for their license, for their guide, for their whole safari. So that wasn't a threat to the populations at all. What is a threat, was and is the illegal killing of animals, which is something else again, where people are just mowing them down with machine guns, and this is going on still, far less so because there are fewer elephants.
Now, Joan, you live around Nairobi.
Lake Naivasha, which is 50 miles away.
Up and over from Nairobi. The lifestyle, how do you were born there
I
originally?
was, yes.
Well, of course, you don't really have that much to compare it with, I suppose.
No, I find that difficult when people say, how is your life different?
Uh-huh.
Because that's always been my life.
Well, I visited about a year ago, and it was a culture shock for me. It really was. We were driving along out in the bush, and I saw a woman carrying a great enormous stack of sticks on her back. I mean, she was bent over,
Yes.
burdened with the weight. And here was her husband, or whomever, walking beside her with a walking stick, la-di-da, ever so light and lively, and she's doing all the work. And it upset me, And so I talked to our driver, and I said, look at that, Francis. Would you help her? You'd help her, wouldn't you? She's carrying all that and she's getting no help. And Francis says, I'm of the Kakuru tribe. And he said, we can't even pick up a child. We cannot even touch a child. And I thought,
That's not so.
He was
he putting me on?
putting
Yes,
on
he
a bit,
was.
because
They're very fond of children.
certainly, yeah. I mean, they're very good family people. They pick up kids, but they don't. African men in general. Well, I won't say in general, but that has been the way. That it was the women who went out and collected the firewood, and the women collected the water, and those are both.
But it's still happening. It's still happening.
It's still happening because the men and the tribal situation, tribal way of life has changed, but the basic situation is still there, that the men are going out to work to earn some money, and they don't have running water in their homes. They can't turn on gas, so somebody's got to go out and get a can of water, and somebody's got to go out and get firewood, and it's the woman who's at home. And so those old ways still go on.
Well, how do you react to that, being a female? Does that disturb you at all, or do you just accept it? That's the way the culture is.
It does upset me to see it, and I notice these women are quite old and they're bent double with their firewood, but you can't go up and tell the man with her to carry it. They just, it's just not their way. And they are changing, in fact. Many of them are adapting to the towns, and it's still only the people in the country you see doing that, and I think it will change.
You seem rather fragile and delicate in many ways to go out and do the kinds of
Me?
things that
Oh,
you do.
yeah,
No, this young lady right here.
No, I'm very tough, and I can run, and I can carry cameras, and I can do all that's necessary.
Firewood.
You're going to carry the firewood next.
I carry
Joan.
the tripod sometimes.
All right, when you're shooting, how close is close? How close do you dare to get in there?
Depends on the animal.
Yeah, that's well, depends what it is. Some of the insects, we're photographing this close, and occasionally we photograph bigger things that close. But you have powerful telephoto lenses these days. We don't try and get close to animals, because the closer you get, the more upset the animal is about your presence. So if you can stay back, then you get a more natural scene.
We have a scene of them shooting a big snake, and the snake spits, whatever snakes do.
Yeah.
And you're wearing some goggles to protect your eyes.
I'm wearing these very glasses. The snake is spitting its venom in defense, and they spit at eyes. And my glasses protect me from the venom.
The snake can see and know where your eyes are to really
Well,
direct
this is
that?
just one kind of snake. A spitting cobra aims at the eyes. It's a defense.
Yeah, it's uncanny. They rear up and they look straight at you, and they'll only spit at eyes. That's why we had to use Joan as a target in that particular sequence. We couldn't get it to spit at a broom or anything that we might want to poke at it.
What
would
if it
only
were to
spit at
hit your
eyes.
eyes?
It did a few times, but I washed
I mean,
it
if you
out
didn't
with
have your
water.
glasses
It's
on.
uncomfortable and painful, but you don't go blind. It's very serious. If the snake bites you, then you can die. But I protected my eyes. This was enough.
Mhm. How do you tolerate the dust on safari?
Well, you just
You get
we
dusty,
grew up
wash
with
it off.
You get dusty, you chew it up and swallow it. And there's not much you can do about it.
Now, tell us, what is the favorite animal, your favorite of all the ones that you photographed?
Well, I do like everything, but cheetahs probably. They're so graceful and very rewarding to spend time with and watch.
Are they really the fastest animal?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
PBS did a bit showing, comparing the movement of animals as opposed to the human being, and how the cheetah actually goes into these various stages as he begins to move and the hind haunches come up,
Yeah.
and it's just indescribably beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You see it shift through the gears and get into overdrive. It's really incredible to watch.
And that we as humans are quite inefficient, quite inefficient.
We have a slow motion
Physically.
sequence in this film
Of a
of
cheetah.
ours, the cheetah running.
All right, what's next on the agenda?
Well, what I want to do next is go back to Tanzania, which is the neighboring country to Kenya. And you may have heard of the Serengeti National Park, I'm sure, it's about 6,000 square miles, and there are something like 4 or 5 million animals there. It's the biggest natural piece of what do we call it, habitat left on Earth. It's the greatest ecosystem left. And I'd want to spend the next 6 years documenting all that, making a series of 5 or 6 one-hour films that covers that in as much depth as we can.
Well, asante, very much. Joan and
Asante.
Alan Root, and we're going to be seeing them here on CBS 1011 Strong. July the 1st, you watch for them. It's Live Action Africa. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.